So when I went into the records, I discovered that when my soul had chosen to come here on earth, I was in this higher realm. And my job was to welcome all the souls who've come from earth, welcome them, also cleanse and clear their energies. And I have been to Pleiades as well, as far as my Akashic records tell me, and Sirius as well. So I do have that also in my DNA. But I do see myself to be more of the Arcturus star seed. I feel Arcturian beings are very. I feel see them as very wise. Like with respect to Pleiades, I feel they are fun. They are intellectual. They're creative. They're intuitive. They want to play. Then I went on a call with her, and she started to speak in tongue. That's what Christians call a tongue language, which we people in the spiritual space we call it light language. And when she spoke, it's like an earthquake coming in that space, because I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? And that was my first introduction to trance channeling, where you allow the energies, the divine energies, to flow through you and speak through you. And when I experienced that, something in me really shifted forever. Dr. Wayne Dyer really helped me to get through it. I remember I saw just a butterfly while I was talking about him. And I also worked on with Louise Hay to begin to love myself again and heal my life in that way. So self love was a major part of my journey. And then, of course, came the Akashic space where I started to dive deeper and understand that we've shared past lifetimes together. Wherein I saw how in every lifetime I was trapped in a particular place. I was trapped, homebound in some way or the other. I was not allowed to step out. And there was this sense of giving is also a privilege, which a lot of people don't understand. It is.
Hi, this is Akanksha. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. If you resonate with me, please like, comment, and share. Welcome to Multidimensional Soul podcast and a talk show. We have with us today Ashmeeta, who is an Akashic reader, healer, a channeler, a fashion brand owner, a truly multidimensional personality, multidimensional soul. So, welcome, Ashmita, on Multidimensional Soul Talk Show and a podcast. It's lovely to have you here.
Her as well. I can feel the energies here, and it's something is happening. I can feel it, and I think we're going to discover more about that soon.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. So this episode is special because we are both Akashic channels and we both have opened Akashic Records. So we are doing live transmission for all of you here. So, Ashwita, can you tell us a little bit about your journey into Akashic, into channeling, in general spirituality? Was there any turning point in your life where you got into it, like dark night of the soul, or was it a gradual journey?
So, what happened with me was that I was in college and I met someone, and this person, which I later realized now was a narcissist. And I went through this whole journey of deep magnetism, deep attraction with respect to them, and then ultimately having my heart really, really broken. And it broke me into so many pieces, that relationship, that time with them. And it opened so many wounds inside of me, which I later realized were going on since many lifetimes. So it was a cycle that was continuing for multiple lifetimes. But at that point of time, of course, I was very young. I was, I think, 17, 18, no, 18, 19 years. And when I went through that heartbreak, it was just catastrophic for me. because then I started to go on a very dangerous path in terms of my mental health, in terms of my anxiety, my depression. Everything kicked in. Nothing was working out. Finances, career, no clarity. Parents were going through a lot of financial lowdowns. So nothing in my life at that point was going okay. So that's when I realized that, I need to find help. I need support. I need to get out of this because this cannot be it. For me, when I went through that amount of suffering, I was like, this cannot be life. This cannot be it. There has to be more to life than going through all of these extreme emotions, extreme lows, so much anxiety. So I started to find and look for answers. I remember I would go on these Facebook groups, which were these psychic reading practice groups, and I would go there and ask them questions. And I would find a sense of comfort, knowing that someone can see me, read me just the way I am without me having to tell them anything. So I was very naturally getting drawn to a lot of mystical things. And I think that's when I met someone who was a Christian. My journey started from there. And she said that she was my friend. And I told her that I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling okay about the way that I'm feeling. Um, I mean, there's something wrong with me. So she said, I'll pray for you. I said, okay, that seems nice. Like, who offers to pray? That is so different than what I've ever experienced. So I said, yeah. So she prayed for me. And then she said, I have a sister, my little sister, and you just, get on a call with her and she'll do a prayer for you. I said, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm like very open because I've seen the psychic realms, I've seen how psychics work. So I was like excited also to see. Then I went on a call with her and she started to speak in tongue. That's what Christians call it, tongue language, which we people in the spiritual space, we call it light language, but they call it the tongue. So she started to speak in tongue, and then I started to cry. I'm like, oh my God, what are you saying? But whatever it is, it's just doing something to me. And I couldn't understand what was really happening inside of my body. Something was changing, something was shifting. I was feeling a sense of relief, a sense of comfort inside of me. So I continued to, go on to that journey a little bit more. And I remember once I would feel a lot of like a pit in my stomach, not being able to eat, not being able to go about my day to do daily tasks and, just survive, not being able to do that at all. Just sitting in one dark room every day, looking up at the ceiling and just feeling extremely lost. So I spoke to her once, and she was very little. She was younger than me. So I myself was like 18, 19. She must be like, I think, yeah, I think she must be 16 or something, 15, 16, or maybe younger. I don't know. But I was telling her, Cheryl, I feel this pit in my stomach. I don't know why. So she did this tongue language. She did that. She did the prayer for me. And then suddenly I felt my stomach expand. And I said, I don't know what you've done, but I need to keep the call because I'm suddenly feeling hungry. So then I kept the call and I went to the kitchen. And I remember I ate this dal in India. It's this black dal,
Lentils, yeah.
lentils, with rice. And I had like a full plate of it, and I felt so fulfilled. And since that time to this day, that pit in my stomach hasn't returned. So I feel something happened in that space, in that healing space where I healed my anxiety. And that also opened me up to a world that I can't see. It helped me see beyond the veil that there is something, there is some kind of help that is available, some support that is available. And I was just magnetized by that space and that world. Of course, later on, she started to pitch in the Bible, and I respectfully declined. I was interested in reading the Bible and going through it, but I knew where it would be leading me. So I knew that there is something here, but it's a doorway into something greater, something better. And I'm so very, very grateful for that call, for that support, because if I didn't have that support at that point in time, I don't know where would I have been. So them stepping forward and doing this for me was like amazing. And since then, I continue to open up to this world. And I remember putting like this post on a Facebook page saying I'm looking for a meditation space around me, and I was in Pune. So I had from Delhi, I had moved to Pune for another job opportunity, and when I put up this post, my coach, my mentor, which she wasn't then, she had replied to it. So then I went into the space where her center was, and quite very synchronized. It was the same place where my old office was, where I had met this man, this guy, who we had this relationship and this karmic, whatever was that. It was in the same building, and I was like, how is this possible? And to me, it all seemed very mystical and magical, and I felt like, what is going on? I was being definitely guided to her. And when I met her once, the first time, I just looked in her eyes, and very nicely I asked her, Ma'am, I don't want to wake up in the morning. Sorry, I told her that, Ma'am, I find it really hard to wake up in the morning. It's very hard for me to get up and get up early. And so she looked at me and she said, "Don't. It's okay." And nobody had told me that, because my mom would always scream at me for not being able to wake up, and that was one of the biggest struggles. And she said, "Don't. It's okay." And just saying that meant a lot to me. So when I looked at her in her eyes, I suddenly start to feel that I've met this person before. I know her. And as a person who's not on the path of awakening yet or is just starting, this feeling is very new. You don't understand. You can't comprehend that. How is it possible that you've met someone and you feel that you've met them before? But there was a deeper connection, and that was then I attended few workshops, and then she had put up just a very small message in her group, and she had said that I'm doing angel channeling for the year, and I didn't understand what that meant at that time, but I was so in. I was like, I really want to do this, and I didn't have the amount back then. I was just out of college, not earning much, so it was a big amount for me. But somehow I managed it, because I think that it was my priority to work on myself and heal myself. And now that I look back, it wasn't a big amount, but for that 21-year-old girl, it was. So I went into that space. The moment, like, let's say I entered that space, I felt something different, because I was like, well, what is this? I didn't understand. It could be like, maybe like a tarot reading, maybe there are cards and something like that, but it was something else. And so she sat, and uh, she, of course, picked out some cards, and then she started to speak. And when she spoke, it's like an earthquake coming in that space, because I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? Um, and that was my first introduction to trance channeling, where you allow the energies, the divine energies, to flow through you and speak through you. And when I experienced that, something in me really shifted forever, because the angels communicated their purpose, my purpose, to me. They told me, why am I here? What am I doing here? Why did I come as a soul on this planet Earth? Why did I choose to come? They revealed everything. And I feel for me, I had a choice whether to believe in what they said or to look the other way. And what I did was, I feel what I did right was, or aligned was, that I listened to them. I listened to what they said. And like a very sincere student, I accepted that. And then my journey began from there of really entering into this path, this space. Then I learned my Akashic Records. I learned few other modalities, and I completely entered this space because, of course, something was guiding me from the very beginning to come into this space. And then I finally got to know my purpose, and then I was here for good. So since I think I was 23 or 22, I have been in this space and allowing myself to serve in whatever way I can with the consciousness and awareness I've had since then. And I continue to work on growing my consciousness so that I can serve higher and more and step more into my purpose and my highest destiny. And that's been my journey.
Wow, that's incredible. You talked about being in this space, what we call as the dark night of the soul, and that usually leads to awakening. And this is like extreme suffering. And you also mentioned that your ex boyfriend and you were doing this for lifetimes, and he was narcissistic and hurting you. When did you realize that, okay, this is happening for lifetimes? And what is the purpose of suffering in our lives? Do we choose it before we are born?
That's interesting. I'll answer that. Um, I won't call him my ex boyfriend because the interaction was different. It was, even though it wasn't a relationship with a label, it was very deep, at least for me. Uh, it hurt me so deeply and damaged my soul at many levels. It took me many years to understand what happened between the two of us and why has it affected me and like traumatized me and literally going through so many after effects of that trauma. So it was a journey of discovery. It didn't come like on the first day itself. I remember that when we were just parting ways, I had Googled, a relationship like ours. And the first thing that comes on it is twin flame. And I read through it and I'm like, oh, I think we're twin flames. And, as someone who is just desperately seeking for that love, that gives you a hope that this could be it. Maybe we'll come back together, and maybe everything will be great again and happy again. And I've seen so many young girls, women, people on the spiritual journey who get really stuck to that. I'm on my twin flame journey. And I really want to invite them to question that today because a twin flame journey, from what I've understood, is a journey when two souls come together to serve a higher purpose. If there is not a higher purpose and it's just about romance and you two coming together and having that hunky dory, that is there has to be something deeper and a greater purpose, which I feel when I heard your story, Akansha, that I felt that this is real. I felt that this is what twin flame is and not what is marketed out to the universe or to the earth, earthly people here. Yeah, so that was the first thing that, I was hooking on to. And then slowly I started to release. Dr. Wayne Dyer really helped me to get through it. I remember I saw just a butterfly while I was talking about him. Uh, so Dr. Wayne Dyer really helped me. Every podcast, he had a lot of podcasts, okay? And then anytime I had any issues or I was thinking something, I would just open a random podcast and he would give the exact answer to what I was going through. Even now, his podcasts are available. So if you want to go ahead and listen to them, they'll really help you. and I also worked on with Louise Hay to begin to love myself again and heal my life in that way. So self love was a major part of my journey. And then, of course, came the Akashic space where I started to dive deeper and understand that we've shared past lifetimes together. Mm. Wherein I saw how in every lifetime I was trapped in a particular place. I was trapped, homebound in some way or the other. I was not allowed to step out. And there was this sense of domination from that person. And I would always feel this anger within me that I need to fight back. I need to tell him that I have power too, that I'm not weak. And I recognize that that came from a lot of warrior energy as well. So I've had a lot of lifetimes as a warrior, fighting in wars, being an activist, speaking my truth. And somewhere along after those lifetimes, um, I met him, and this man trapped me from being that warrior. And I was just entangled in this relationship uh, with this soul for many lifetimes, wanting to be a warrior but were not being allowed to. Wanting to step out and fight and for the right and speak the right thing, speak the truth, but not being allowed to. And then came a lot of anger that, how could you do this? How could you let this happen? For me, the journey was of realizing many things. The first one is um, that over many lifetimes, I've just fought, and my life has ended after fighting. And what I recognize is I used to call myself a light warrior before, because I was like, yes, fighting the dark, and so we want have to stand for the right and all of that. And then I realized it drains your energy so much. It doesn't do a lot of good. It's just like you're on one team and the other person is on the opposite team, and both the team people say that, oh, we are right. And we are working for the right thing. They don't think that they're working for the wrong thing. So somewhere there is righteousness even in the dark energy. So I realized that this is futile. In this lifetime, I've realized that this is duality. The dark is meant to exist. The dark is meant to do what it's meant to do. Um, it is its purpose to be to give us that experience of duality. So there are some dark workers who come specifically on earth to be the dark, to embody the dark fully, so that they can give us the experience of contrast. Imagine if everyone is in the light, then how will we experience anything here on earth which is different than the feeling of unconditional love beyond this planet? Then it would be same. So the earthly experience is created for us to experience that duality with the dark coming in. And that was also a lesson for me that it's their purpose. If needed to stand up for myself, I'll do that. But if not needed, let me not pick up fights and be so righteous about everything and continue to move on that journey, because there is another path. And that path is that you raise your consciousness and you rise, and with you rising, several others around you start to rise. The entire consciousness of the planet rises, and you exit the experience. You cannot change the experience. The earth offers duality. Now, you're not here to finish the dark, you're here to allow it to do its work. So, for me, it was also a journey to realize that he was a dark teacher in my life. And one of the biggest teachers I could have ever had in the um, in the most wonderful way. Even the breaking of the heart and everything, all of mind twisting things and every trauma that I felt during that experience was important to break me. If I hadn't broken, then I had to go through so many more smaller and smaller experiences, and then over time realize, so my soul had chosen to receive that from him. And when I received, and in this lifetime, I was able to awaken. Because in every other lifetime, I was trapped. And I at the end of the lifetime, I would be able to come out of that trap somehow or the other. Um, However, in this lifetime, I was in this lifetime, I was again going to be trapped, but I chose to come out of it again, and I survived more than the age that I've lived in other lifetimes, and I chose to awaken, and that's the biggest gift he has given me with the experience I've had. Apart from that, another lesson I learned from this experience was that I was somewhere cursing him, that you should suffer because you have hurt me. And when I do that, when I curse someone or wish suffering upon them because they've hurt me, I entangle myself in the karma. And this was another big lesson for me, that I had to learn that, is it worth it? Okay, what they've done is wrong, but me wishing them suffering is also dark, is also not okay, is also keeping me entangled with them. Because I would keep getting their dreams again and again. I would wonder, why am I getting the dream? Why? When I'm, living a happy life and everything is going great, and why do I keep going back there in my dream world? And that is because I had trapped him. I had entangled him with this time. So what would happen is, even though everything was going fine in my life, everything was going great, um, I would keep seeing his dreams, and I would wonder, why am I seeing the dream again and again? And that's when I realized, I went into the records, into the Akashic records, and I understood that it is because I'm still somehow trapping him, entangling with him, because I was wishing him that suffering. So somewhere deep within me, I had this, that that person should suffer because they've made me suffer for many lifetimes. They've trapped me. So when I went into the records, I discovered that when my soul had chosen to come here on earth, so very interestingly, I'll tell you that story. Um, I was in this higher realm, okay, and I had my beautiful parents and that divine parents in that higher realm. And my job was to welcome all the souls who've come from earth, welcome them, also cleanse and clear their energies, help them assimilate and integrate that experience, and possibly take them through a life review. So help them see where all, uh, help them see the different experiences they've had, and help them understand what could they have done differently, or how could they embody a different energy now, and to complete that experience with them. So I would take them through that life review aspect, plus revitalize their souls and heal them. And that was my work in that dimension. I could see that clearly. And this was something that came to me through my parents, who were already working in that divine realm. And uh, they, uh, they had birthed me. And when they did, I would do this also quite well. As my job was to welcome people from earth, I would listen to their experiences. I would understand how they've experienced the dark. So there was a part of me that was really mesmerized by it, mesmerized by the dark. I'm like, this is something new. What is all this? I want to also have this experience. I want to also, have the contrast experience for myself. And I had never had that, since the time I was born through the source. And so I remember speaking to my parents about it, and they were like, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something you would want to have. We don't want you to have that experience. There is no need, because you're already, fulfilling your purpose in the life review department, as I understand. They were initially not on board with the idea, but I was personally mesmerized by the dark, by the contrast that we get to experience on earth. So I saw myself going down, and signing a contract with him, and saying that, you give me that experience as I come here on earth, because I would need that. Without it, how can I wake up? And plus, this is why I'm coming. I'm just curious to see what goes on here. Of course, while I have come here on earth for an experience and out of curiosity, there is a purpose tied with it, which is what I was doing in the higher realms. I continue to do that today in my work. I continue to take people through a life review. I continue to help them balance karmas, understand why they went through what they went through, what was the larger lesson, what was the higher purpose, what do they need to balance, helping them revitalize their souls and reintegrate their souls and step into a higher timeline. This is exactly what I did there when souls came from Earth and they came to a higher dimension because they'd completed a lot of their lessons. So my journey was to help them step into their highest timeline there, which is exactly what I do here. So that's when I also understood that that was my contract with him. So not a twin flame, not a twin flame. We often think and we would want it to be because it's such a romantic concept that you come together, but it's not. It's not. Yes. With that, I understood that, there's no need for me to make him suffer because another beautiful thing happened when I said in my Akashic records that, I want you to suffer. And he's like, yeah, I deserve to suffer. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, give me more pain. And that's when I realized the dark loves the pain. It loves suffering. So I'm giving them the suffering that they want from me. And I'm giving them exactly that. And in doing that, I'm not like helping anyone. So from that point, my wish for him, my desire for him, my prayer for him has been that you go on your journey of healing, growth, and abundance. May you experience love, happiness, unity, healing, so that you can awaken to your own potential. And that would be my greatest service to him. And that would really help him and give him a choice to actually wake up from the dark than cursing him. Then he could come to a space of realization. But if I keep him suffering, then he keeps suffering, and um, nobody is helped in that scenario. And I'm also weighed down by it, and I continue to stay entangled. So a large part of this lesson was a forgiveness, to forgive him, to let him go, and to wish him well. And that I know for a lot of people who might be listening, who've been through abusive relationships or tough relationships or highly karmic relationships, it's not easy to forgive. But ultimately, we have to reach to a place of forgiveness to free ourselves from the whole dynamic. So, yeah, from that point, I've also realized how important it is to not curse anyone, even though, yes, they might have made you suffer a lot, but in cursing them and holding on to that resentment, we are hurting ourselves. And Wayne Dyer used to say that there are no justified resentments. Resentments always keep you stuck. You can't justify it. It doesn't let you grow into the person you're meant to become. Since then, beautifully, I have not had those dreams, and I have been able to really grow from that experience and close that space. So when you say that, is suffering a choice or do we have to suffer? I feel like Buddha would say that pain is inevitable. You're here for the contrast, but suffering is a choice. For some part of it, it's not even a choice. When you're not awakened, when you're not conscious, then you're not choosing suffering. It's literally just happening to you because you're in that state of victimhood where you feel that everything happens to me. Then the entire world, the earth, reflects that back to you because earth is a simulation. It is a place that mirrors back everything that is within you. Whatever is outside is a direct reflection of whatever is inside of you. So when within me, I am unconscious and I carry this energy that everything's happening to me, then everything is happening to me. Then I am suffering, and then it's not my fault that I'm suffering, but it's just how I'm programmed to be. Only when you choose to awaken is suffering a choice. But until you remain unconscious, it's not. So as you start to awaken, you can choose. A lot of people say that, oh, you've done this karma in the past, now you have to suffer. Like that is it. There is no changing of the karma. But I would like to really question that and say that, of course, let's say you are supposed to go through a karmic cycle and you are meant to go through that karmic cycle, okay. But how you respond to that is a choice. Once you become conscious, suffering is not necessary. You'll experience pain, yes, but if you learn how to transmute it, shift it, respond to it differently, respond to it with love and compassion, you will not suffer through it. You will outgrow it, you will transcend it, and you will step into your purpose with it. So when I went through this experience, I had made a decision in my mind without even awakening that I don't think I should suffer so much. I said no to suffering. I'm like, no, not needed in my reality. Why to suffer for no reason? There has to be a deeper meaning for the pain I've gone through. So my journey was to find that deeper meaning and a higher purpose, to detach. And oftentimes there is most all the time there is a purpose, there is a higher purpose to our suffering if we look deep into it, and then it becomes a choice. Then whatever you're meant to go through also you transcend. And sometimes your contracts shift, they can be renegotiated. So, yeah, like for example, if it is you're meant to meet a toxic person and be in a relationship with them in terms of in terms of your karma, because let's say that you may have hurt them in the previous lifetime, and now you're meant to be on the receiving end of that. Even then, if you become conscious of it, this can end beautifully with forgiveness, compassion, and love. So I don't agree with that you have to go through it, oh, because it's in your karma. It can end very beautifully. And
So
also,
profound. And I also love Louise and I love Wayne Dyer also. I have been following their work for quite some time. And absolutely, like you said, that many women, especially, tend to label their relationship as twin flame, even if they are just in toxic relationship. And twin flame relationship is very different. And being on the twin flame journey myself, I know it. It's I can talk on this for days, but let's move ahead with what you said in terms of suffering being a choice. And like you rightly said, that Buddha said that pain is even inevitable, but suffering is optional. When you're not awakened, and till the time you have not finished learning your lessons, you will go through the same karmic cycle again and again, and you might not even realize it. So, can you tell people how to realize that, okay, this is something that is a negative karmic loop that I'm going through, and I need to come out of it and not keep suffering or not be in that victim mindset that this is happening to me. Why is this thing happening to me? And why am I getting stuck in this again and again and again? So, what can people do to recognize A and B, come out of it?
so firstly, what people tend to do is that they tend to feel that this is happening because they've done something wrong to this person in the past life. Then they go in this space of deep guilt that, oh, I must have done something wrong. That's why I'm suffering now. That's why this is happening to me now. So, what I've realized with my journey in the Akashic Records is it's very rare that it is about what you've done to them and how you have to suffer now out of, let's say, as like a, in terms of um, a punishment. It's very rare. What I have seen happening in the Akashic records is that you've gone through the same experience over and over and over and over again, and you're not able to exit that experience. So you're not able to learn that lesson. So it's very less about the other person, because what the other person is doing is just a contract. It is just a role that they are playing in your life, right? So with this, what ends up happening is that people keep in that guilt, and instead of moving into a space of empowerment. So what's usually shown to me in the Akashic records is how they have repeated the same situation over and over and over and over again until they learn their lessons and finally move beyond it and transcend it. It has got very less to do with what you've done to the other person and more to do with what you've not learned within yourself. So that's number one. So you can start by asking yourself, what is this teaching me? What am I learning through this situation? And you might not find the answer at the get go. You'd be like, I don't know, because I'm just suffering. I don't know what this is teaching me. And that could be your first answer to the situation, because you want to either blame someone for it, or you want to feel guilty and blame yourself. Once you're out of that and you're able to see that situation from a higher perspective, let's say it's happening to two souls, what do you feel they're learning from each other? What is this teaching them? Often the answer is self love, is self worth. The answer is boundaries, or speaking your truth, or forgiveness, or compassion, or love. Often these are the answers to the question that what is my lesson here? And it is very rarely I have done something wrong, so I have to suffer now. It is very rarely that. Sometimes, yes, I've seen people who have knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously hurt others. So then they take on that to finish off their karma. That okay, we'll go through, let's say, this illness to clear off that karma. But that's not the only way karma works. And often people just stick to that one particular way. But there is more, especially when it comes to your own personal lessons in life and your own growth and spiritual awakening. It is less about the other person, more about your own self love, your own forgiveness and compassion. So, to come out of it is, of course, continue to raise your consciousness, continue to work on yourself, continue to love yourself more and hold a lot of compassion. And in doing that, you will overcome a lot of lot of the struggle and the suffering in your life, because when you begin to love yourself, you become more like God. And ultimately the answer is that we are here to return back to the source. So the more source like we become, the more we exit and transcend the karmic cycle. And it is also to attach, not attach ourselves, but to align ourselves to a higher purpose. Now, the way that I was able to transcend my karmic journey and step into my dharma, my purpose, step into my highest timeline, was to seek for that higher purpose. It was to seek for that higher awareness in my life always, and to look at my life from a higher perspective and aligning myself to service what I'm here to do. Because the path of karma is transactional. That you give me this, I give you this. Then you meet people who here to finish some soul contracts with you. So you give them something, they give you something, finished, done, balanced, right? But the path of dharma is about giving, is about service, and not from a space of your empty cup, giving from a space of fulfillment. A lot of people want to serve, a lot of people want to be in the space of service, but I often ask them, is do you have the capability of service? Because we think that anyone can give and anyone can serve, but no, this space of service is also a space that you have to ascend to. You cannot just be like, okay, I want to help other people, because giving is also a privilege, which a lot of people don't understand. It is earned through karmas, it is earned through your consciousness, your vibration. So, when I speak to the light beings and when I channel them and I ask them that, what are you receiving out of giving to me? Why are you giving me this for free? They say that, Ashmita, we're here to give. We're here to serve because we are abundant ourselves. We have everything. And in giving, we receive. In giving, we fulfill our purpose. And giving is our service. So you are not expecting anything back from them, from anyone else. Whenever you're giving, whenever you're of service, there's no expectation that this person will give me something back. And that's true service. What instead is happening is, you're serving from a space of abundance. You have something in abundance, overflowing, and you are overflowing it to the other being. And that's how they serve. Of course, on Earth, there is a currency of exchange. But beyond this planet, in the higher dimensions, they say in giving, we receive. So that's the space of dharma, which is where you're free of karma. There is no transaction, there is just service. So, my intention has always been to step into that path of service, where, of course, um, I'm doing what is needed for me to transact on this planet Earth, to be a part of this planet, and to not only survive but thrive here. And for that, I need to give myself first a lot. I need to make myself a container of overflowing abundance. And only then do I have the privilege to serve others. And only then I'm capable of giving others. So once you are abundant in anything you could be. Maybe you're abundant in painting, maybe you're abundant in drawing, maybe you're abundant in making jewelry or cooking. Whatever aspect of your life you're abundant in, you can give that. uh, let's say you have a lot of toffees at home, then you can serve that to people, even serve that to the people who come to deliver you stuff, because here in India we have those 10-minute delivery apps, and I've done that a few times. Like, I hand them something and they're so happy. They're like, oh, thank you, thank you. They get so, their heart really becomes so warm. Why? Because they didn't expect that. They didn't expect a good gesture from anyone that day, and it came. And why was I able to provide that? Because I was abundant in those goodies that I had with myself. So only give what you're abundant in, and that's when you'll be of service to anyone. And that's what I've learned.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever people give, they usually give it like an obligation. They expect something back, or they want people to be obliged to them. Oh, I'm doing so much for you, and you should be obliged to me. Even if I don't expect anything back from you, it's the energy of obligation that they expect. And that is why they get stuck again in the karmic loops. You talked about soul contracts being flexible and they can be modified. How can people do that?
I think the first step is to understand that, do you even want to modify that soul contract, and why? What's the reason behind it? And what is it trying to teach you? So the only way to modify is to transcend it, and to transcend it, you must learn what it's meant to teach you. And for that, you need the higher awareness. You need to meditate, or you need to access your Akashic records, either through someone or by yourself. And through that experience, you can get a higher perspective, like an eagle eyes view on your life, and see. So partly what we used to do in our life review in Arcturus, this the space that I am from, the star system that I am from, is I used to help souls review their lives and reconstruct their soul contracts based on their lessons. So the idea would be on earth, if you want to do it, you got to review your life. You got to review that soul contract, understand what purpose is it serving in your life, and learn that lesson from it and transcend it. That's the way to negotiate
Beautiful.
it.
You talked about remembering yourself as an Arcturian starseed. So, can you talk a little bit about Arcturians? What is their purpose on Earth right now? There are a lot of intergalactic beings and other star system higher beings helping the Earth right now. And how is Arcturus? Can you describe how does it look? And if you remember your lifetimes there, and what is the purpose that they are here now?
Well, I feel that the reason for the Arcturus star seeds to be here is to help the collective in awakening and raising its vibrations. For that reason, many of us are here. You are here. All of us star seeds are here because Earth is awakening, and we are meant to be that seed of awakening in the lives of so many people, so many souls. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here to help other people wake up sooner, because people who've been on earth for a very long time, especially the old souls that are here, sometimes they get stuck in the simulation, right? They get stuck in the cycle of life and rebirth because they don't end up becoming conscious. So they forget, and they forget so deeply that they don't then wake up to their potential. So we are here to help them remember, as well as firstly remember ourselves that we are here for a reason as a volunteer, and then help other souls remember that, hey, wake up. Because of the way this is designed, this entire earth play is designed. In India, we call it Leela. Krishna calls it Leela, the cosmic play, is that you cannot come out of this system without transcending it fully. So we have to play the game and we have to complete and balance the energies to come out of this. So we are here to support other souls in balancing those energies, in awakening and fully remembering who they are and their soul potential, and then choose to exit the cycle. It is again their free will, whether they want to exit, be fully liberated, or they want to come back again. So that is our purpose. And I feel Arcturian beings are very, I see them as very wise. I see them as elders mostly, like they're a little bit the way I perceive them is this beautiful red energy, and it's like you don't really mess with them because they know so much. They have crossed so many levels of spiritual evolution that you don't touch them, you know. Like with respect to Pleiades, I feel they are fun, they're intellectual, they're creative, they're intuitive, they want to play. With the Syrians, I feel they're very experts in certain fields. They'll pick one field and they'll be like a deep expert in that. So Syrians for me are like, just experts. And who else is there? I mean, there are so many of them. But and with people from Orion, I feel they carry a lot of wounds of the wars. They're mostly in business, so they carry a lot more karma. With Arcturians, I personally feel that they just know. There's a sense of knowing, a sense of not even, they're not even elders in the sense like they wouldn't like to be perceived now that I'm speaking. Like it's just a sense of knowingness. And I have been to Pleiades as well, as far as my Akashic records tell me, and Sirius as well. So I do have that also in my DNA, but I do see myself to be more of the Arcturus star seed than any other. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yes, I also have been on all of these constellations.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I'm sure we might have met.
yeah, probably. Thank you. Thank you so much. And how can people connect with you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. I have a page called Ashmeeta Activates. You can follow me there. And I also have a store called inspirit.store. That's also there on Instagram. You'll find the link on my profile itself. So that's where you can get in touch with me.
Awesome. We'll provide all the links in the video description. It has been such a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching and listening in wherever you are in the world. As Ramdas says, that we all are just walking each other home. So thank you for co-creating the new earth along with me and our guests. And if you resonate with me, do subscribe to my channel and do let us know how you find our episodes. Thank you so much. Lots of love.